hopefully this won't be terribly interrupted by Baby Bear. Hi guys, this is Connie. It's Tuesday. We need to do a Connie Reads The Dogs of Winter. We are on chapter 19. Titled The Glass House. And so it was, I threw in my lot with the dogs. The day Smoke led me from Leningradsky station, he took me farther into the city. All this time, I'd thought I was already living deep in the city, with its tall glass buildings and everything made of steel and bricks and concrete. When at last we pulled into a train station and the voice, that was not a voice, announced, "Last stop." Smoke stood. With barely a glance at me, he left the train car and set out. I trotted as fast as my socks would carry me, trying to keep him in sight. "Wait!" I called as I raced up the stairs and out of the station. Smoke paused at the top of the stairs just long enough for me to catch up. Then he was off again. I ran alongside him. My feet quickly became wet and cold through the socks. I barely noticed my new surroundings. All I knew as we ran and ran, up one narrow street and down another, past old buildings and long, black cars so shiny I could see Smoke and myself running on the side of the car. I waved. The car slid past. Finally, we came to a small wooden shed. I bent over, breathing hard, my hands on my knees. Woof! I straightened and looked around. The shed lived in a small forest of trees and overgrown brambles. The door to the shed sagged to one side. The one window lay in many pieces on the ground. I followed Smoke behind the shed. We climbed over a crumbling brick wall and pushed our way through vines and bushes. I gasped. It stood before me, shining in the sun. A house made of glass. And out of the glass house tumbled two little puppies, followed by Lucky, Rip, and Grandmother. "Lucky!" I cried. I threw my arms... This child... "Lucky!" I cried. I threw my arms around the neck of the big brown and black dog. I buried my cold face in his warm fur. Grandmother licked my fingers, and Rip barked and danced and twirled on his hind legs. I laughed. I dropped to my knees and scooped the puppies into my arms. They kissed and kissed my face with their little pig tongues. We rolled in the snow, Rip barking and dancing, the puppies nipping and tugging on my clothes. Lucky sat with Grandmother and wagged his tail. Finally, I sat up and shook the snow from my hair. "Where is the other puppy?" I asked. "Where is little Mother? Where is Patches? Where is Patches?" Words. And where was Smoke? I followed his tracks into the glass house, past wooden tables and rows of empty flower pots. There, under a table, lay little Mother in a nest of empty sacks. Smoke stood beside her, his amber eyes filled with worry. She was much thinner than I remembered. Her big brown eyes were filled with sorrow and with questions. I knelt down next to her. Pressed into the fur of her belly was the third puppy. It did not move. Little Mother whimpered and nosed the still puppy. I touched the little body with my finger. It was cold and stiff. "Oh, little Mother," I sighed. I stroked her side. There was nothing between her fur and her bones. Smoke whined. He looked from me to the puppy and back again. "This is why you brought me here. Or, is this why you brought me here?" I asked him. I shook my head. "There is nothing I can do for him now," I said to Smoke and little Mother. "The puppy is dead. I cannot help." "Woof," said Smoke. "I am just a boy," I said to Smoke. "A small, pathetic boy." I picked the puppy up and held it to my chest. So soft, so silent. All the dogs watched as I wrapped the tiny body in a page from my fairy tale book. I folded his little body in the wings of the bright angel that came for the little match girl. The dogs trailed solemnly behind as I carried the paper-wrapped body out into the fading light. I dug a hole with a rusted spade. Even the puppies were silent as I laid the body in the dirt. I covered the puppy and sat back. "The angels have him now," I said to the dogs. "He has gone to a place that is warm and where there is more food than he can ever eat. Everyone is kind there." I said to the dogs and the first stars, "He will be filled with love." The dogs and I sat that way on the cold ground beside the little grave. We watched the stars come out one by one. Finally, little mother took her 2 remaining puppies back into the glass house. I followed behind. I lay down beside her. Grandmother lay on the other side. We watched as the puppies pushed against their mother's belly, crying for milk. I ran my hand over her belly. Her nipples were dry. I am just a boy, I said to little mother. A small, pathetic boy with no mother. I curled myself closer to her and the puppies. Rip and grandmother pressed in close to me. But tomorrow, I promised her, tomorrow I will get food so you can make food for your babies. And that's the end of chapter 19. Be careful with that and enjoy. Please and thank you. And I have got to hope that this book will get better in time. Bye.